Looking back on when I was a little nappy-headed boy, then my only worry was for Christmas what would be my toy. Even though we sometimes would not get a thing, we were happy with the joy the day would bring. Sneaking out the back door to hang out with those hoodlum friends of mine. Greeted at the back door, I thought I told you not to go outside. Trying your best to bring the water to your eyes. Thinking it might stop her whipping your blood down so they could come back and smoke. Why did those days ever happen? I wish those days could come back and smoke. Why did those days ever happen? 'Cause I love her so. Brother says he's telling about you playing doctor with that girl. I just don't tell him I'll give you anything you want in this whole wide world. Mama gives you money for Sunday school, treating us for candy after church is through, smoking cigarettes and writing something messy on the wall.
You nasty boy.
Teacher sends you to the principal's office down the hall.
Hall and boss are cruising the big rigs. Now I've come back home to plan my next move from the comfort of my Aunt Faye's couch. When I see my little cousin Janine walk in, well, all I could say was ouch. Honey, how you've grown like a rose. Well, we used to play when we were 3. How about a kiss for your cousin Dupree? How about a kiss for your cousin Dupree? She turned my life into a living hell in those little tops and tight capris. I pretended to be reading the National Probe as I was watching her wax her skis. And Saturday night she walked in with a date and backed him up against the wall. I tumbled off the couch and heard myself sing in a voice I never knew I had before. Honey, how you've grown like a rose. Well, we used to play when we were 3. How about a kiss for your cousin Dupree? How about a kiss for your cousin Dupree? I teach you everything I know. You teach me how to do that dance. Life is short and quid pro quo. And what's so strange about a down-home family romance? texture of your soul. I said, but what is it exactly turns you off? Honey, how you've grown like a rose. Well, we used to play when we were 3. How about a kiss for your cousin Dupree? 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 I don't mind the quiet or the lonely nights. I don't miss the funky attitudes, and I don't miss the fights. Lie on the couch till supper time and hunker down and read the Post. And that's when I remember the things I miss the most. The talk, the sex, somebody to trust, the Audi TT, the house on the vineyard, the house on the Gulf Coast. These are the things I miss the most. I kinda like frying up my sad cuisine, getting in bed, curling up with a girly magazine. Sometimes in the corner of my eye, I see that adorable ghost. And then boom, I remember the things I miss the most. The talk, the sex, somebody to trust, the comfy ease chair, the good copper pan, and the 54 Strat. These are the things I miss the most. I had a little birdie friend. By morning she was gone. Birdie goodbye. Birdie I'm learning how to meditate. So far, so good. I'm building the Henry and Daria out of balsa wood. Days really don't last forever. It's getting pretty damn close. And that's that you're not a gambling man, then you'll find you're back in Vegas with a handle in your hand. Your black cards can make you money, so you hide them when you're able. In the land of milk and honey, you must put them on the table. Yeah, you go back, Jack, do it again. We'll turn it round and round. You go back, Jack, do it again.
Times are hard, you're afraid to pay the fee, so you find yourself somebody who can do the job for free. When you need a bit of loving, 'cause your man is out of town, that's the time you get me running, and you know I'll be around. I'm a fool to do your dirty work, oh yeah. I don't wanna do your dirty work no more. I'm a fool to do your dirty work, oh yeah. Light the candle, put the lock upon the door. You have sent the maid home early like 1,000 times before. Like the castle in his corner in a medieval game, I foresee terrible trouble, and I stay here just the same. I'm a fool to do your dirty work, oh yeah. I don't wanna do your dirty work no more. I'm a fool to do your dirty work, oh yeah. I'm a fool to do your dirty work, oh yeah. I don't wanna do your dirty work no more. I'm a fool to do your dirty work, oh yeah. I don't wanna do your dirty work no more. I'm a fool to do your dirty work, oh yeah. I don't wanna do
precious I can't understand. Are you reeling in the years, stowing away the time? Are you gathering up the tears? Have you had enough of mine? Are you reeling in the years, stowing away the time? Are you gathering up the tears? Have you had enough of mine? You've been telling me you're a genius since you were 17. In all the time I've known you, I still don't know what you mean. The weekend at the college didn't turn out like you planned. The things that pass for knowledge I can't understand. Are you reeling in the years, stowing away the time? Are you gathering up the tears? Have you had enough of mine? Are you reeling in the years, stowing away the time? Are you gathering up the tears? Have you had enough of mine? I spent a lot of money and I spent a lot of time. The trip we made to Hollywood is etched upon my mind. After all the things we've done and seen, you find another man. The things you think are useless, I can't understand. Are you reeling in the years, stowing away the time? Are you gathering up the tears? Have you had enough of mine? Are you reeling in the years, stowing away the time? Are you gathering up the tears? Have you had enough of mine? We hear you're leaving, that's okay. I thought our little wild time had just begun. I guess you kinda scared yourself, you turn and run. But if you have a change of heart, Ricky, don't lose that number. You don't wanna call nobody else. Send it off in a letter to yourself. Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better when you get home. I have a friend in town, he's heard your name. We can go out driving on slow hand road. We could stay inside and play games, I don't know. And you could have a change of heart. Ricky, don't lose that number. You don't wanna call nobody else. Send it off in a letter to yourself. Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better when you get home. You tell yourself you're not my kind, but you don't even know your mind. And you could have a change of heart. Ricky, don't lose that number. You don't wanna call nobody else. Send it off in a letter to yourself. Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better when you get home. Ricky, don't lose that number. Ricky, don't lose that number. Ricky, don't lose that number. Five names that I can hardly stand to hear, including yours and mine, and one more chip who isn't here. I can see the ladies talking how the times are getting hard, and that fearsome excavation on Magnolia Boulevard. Yes, I'm going insane, and I'm laughing at the me for a fool. Do you think that I don't see that ditch out in the valley that they're digging just for me? Yes, I'm gone insane. You know I'm laughing at the frozen rain. I feel like a song. Honey, when they gonna send me home? Bad sneakers and a pina colada, my friend, stopping on the avenue by Radio City with a transistor and a large sum of money to spend.
Check 1 2. Test 1 2.
Going insane. Yes, I'm laughing at the frozen rain. And I saw, honey, when they gonna send me home? Bad sneakers and a pina colada, my friend, stopping on the avenue by Radio City with a transistor and a large sum of money to spend.
Do you remember the 21st night of September? Love was changing the minds of pretenders while chasing the cloud away.
of you.
I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to warm a lonely night. I love you, baby. Trust in me when I say, oh, pretty baby, don't bring me down, I pray. Oh, pretty baby, now that I found you, stay and let me love you, baby. Let me love you. Here we go. Set. Oh, what a night. Late December back in '63. What a very special time for me. I remember what a night. Oh, what a night. You know I didn't even know your name. I was never gonna be the same. I remember what a night. Oh yeah, I got a funny feeling when she walked in the room, and I recall it ended too soon. Oh, do-do-do-do-do-do.
Oh, what a night.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Oh, what a night.
Oh, yeah. Dance to the music. Dance to the music. Dance to the music. Dance to the music.
All we need is a drummer for people who only need a beat, yeah.
I'm gonna add a little guitar to make it easy to move your feet. I'm gonna add some bottom so that the dancers they just won't hide.
You might like to hear on the organ. I said right, Sally, right.
talking about.
Good job in the city, working for the man every night and day. And I never lost 1 minute of sleep. I was worried about the way that things got passed. Oh, big wheel, keep on turning. Oh, brown berry, keep on burning. We keep rolling, rolling, rolling down the river. We keep rolling, rolling, rolling down the river. Attention, baby. Sell, sell, sell. Sexy lady. Oh, I know that you don't know it, but you're fine, so fine, fine, so fine. Oh, girl, I'm gonna show you when you're mine, oh mine, treasure. That is what you are. Honey, you're my golden star. You can make my wish come true if you let me treasure you. If you let me treasure you. Pretty girl, you should be smiling.
You should be smiling.
A girl like you should never look so blue.
Everything I see in my dreams.
I wouldn't say that to you if it wasn't true.
Oh, I know that you don't know it, but you're fine, so fine, fine, so fine. Oh, girl, I'm gonna show you when you're mine, oh mine, treasure. That is what you are, honey. You're my golden star. Girl, you can make my wish come true if you let me treasure you. If you let me treasure you. You are my treasure. You are my treasure. You are my treasure. Yeah, you are my treasure. You are my treasure. You are my treasure. Yeah, you are treasure. That is what you are. Honey, you're my golden star. You know you can make my wish come true if you let me treasure you. If you let me treasure you.
Welcome to Rowan University's 2018 commencement ceremony. The university will take aerial photographs throughout the program, so we ask that you not be alarmed if you see any hovering drones in the distance. The processional is ready to begin. Please silence all cell phones and please remain seated during the processional so everyone can see. Thank you.
just because the
it has a groove. Don't make it in the groove. And you can tell right away at letter A, the people start to move. They can feel it all over. They can feel it all over, people. They can feel it all over. They can feel it all over, people. Come on. Music knows it isn't always will be one of the things that life just won't quit. Here are some of music's pioneers that time will not allow us to forget. There's Basie Miller, Satchmo, and the king of all the new. And with a voice like Ella's ringing out, there's no way the band could lose. They can feel it all over. They can feel it all over, people. Hey. They can feel it all over. They can feel it all over, people. Hey.
superstitious writings on the wall. Very superstitious. A ladder's about to fall. 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass. 7 years of bad luck, the good things in the past. When you believe in things that you don't understand, then you suffer. Superstition ain't the way. Yeah. Oh, very superstitious. Wash your face and hands. Rid me of my problems. Do all that you can. Keep me in a daydream. Keep me going strong. You don't want to save me. Sad is my song. When you believe in things that you don't understand, then you suffer. Superstition ain't the way. Yeah. Ow! Ooh! Ooh! Very superstitious. Nothing more to say. Very superstitious. The devil's on his way. 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass. 7 years of bad luck. The good things in the past. When you believe in things that you don't understand, then you suffer. Superstition ain't the way.
Superstition ain't the way.
Superstition ain't the way. Superstition ain't the way. No, no, no. Superstition ain't the way. Yeah. Superstition ain't the way. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still is the home of the brave.
Please be seated. And now, Rowan University Provost, Dr. Jim Newell.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Rowan University Commencement Main Ceremony. It is my pleasure to introduce our special guests. Please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. Rowan University President, Dr. Ali Hushmand. From the Rowan University Board of Trustees, Mr. Chad Bruner, Chair. Mr. Robert Posnick, Vice Chair. Mr. Larry Salva, Secretary. Dr. Barbara Chamberlain, Dr. Thomas Gallia, and Mr. Arbery Singleton, our student trustee. And our distinguished guests, Mr. Corey Clement, today's keynote speaker. I had a feeling there would be no holding the applause on that one. Mr. Christopher Lukash, distinguished alumnus. Gloucester County Freeholder Dan Christie. Ms. Suzanne Smalley Beers, the Alumni Board President. Ms. Melanie Burney from the Alumni Board. Ms. Angelique Hilton from the Alumni Board. Ms. Rhonda Holland from the Alumni Board. Mr. Bill Friend, the University Senate President. Ms. Denise Williams, the CWA President. Ms. Lauren Bitzer, the SGA President. And Dr. David Clowney, our Grand Marshal for today's ceremony. Also, members of the Cabinet, deans, college advisory boards, faculty, and other senior members of the administration. Sure. Last but not least, there are two very important constituencies that must be recognized as well. Students, please rise and face the people most important in your lives, your parents, partners, brothers, sisters, and loved ones who have provided support and resources to help bring us to this day. Applaud them as you stand here to graduate. And finally, please recognize your Rowan University family, the faculty, staff, and administrators who share in your pride and success today. Please be seated.
Good afternoon. My name is Chad Bruner, and I'm the chairman of the Rowan University Board of Trustees. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you, your families, and friends to Rowan University on behalf of faculty, staff, and administrators. I'd like to tell you a story about a young boy who lived in this small town. Now, being raised in this small town, the boy grew up with many perceived stereotypes, as well as people telling him what he could or could not accomplish because he was from this small town. The boy wondered if these perceptions were true, or if they were just created by small-minded thinkers, or people who like to be discouraging, or people who like to say, don't have high hopes or unrealistic expectations. The boy was respectful to his elders, but didn't buy into their pessimism. Rather, he was encouraged to use that negativity to fuel his aspirations and push through adverse times to accomplish his dreams and goals. He realized that it energized him to chase it, but it also exhausted him to maintain it. But during it all, he knew that the accomplishments would be birthed the commitment and resolve it took. As he grew older, he thought it was important to remember where he came from, to remember all those strenuous days of hard work and gutting it out, and to remember and respect the roads he traveled along the way, even though it had many twists and turns. He realized that some of his best life experiences were, in fact, those twists and turns, many of which were presented in the form of the hardest jobs he worked growing up. Whether it was operating a jackhammer, maneuvering heavy equipment like front-end loaders and backhoes, digging ditches to repair water and sewer leaks, or his all-time favorite, throwing trash on the back of a trash truck, or what he liked to call his days as a sanitation engineer. As he continued on his journey, he reflected on his life experiences of being from this small town with all those small-minded thinkers and performing all those difficult, physical, demanding jobs. He realized all of it helped mold and define his character today. He believed that it was important to remember this. He also believed it was important to appreciate those who he encountered along the way, whether they were positive or negative influencers. What happened to that boy? Well, ultimately he earned his Bachelor's of Business Administration degree from Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, his Master's of Business Administration degree from Rowan University, rose to the top of his profession in county government to become the county administrator, be entrusted with many volunteer board appointments by numerous governors, be appointed to the Rowan University Board of Trustees, be selected among his peers to serve as chairman, and to deliver opening remarks and officiate your commencement ceremony today. So much for don't have any unrealistic expectations. President Hushman has referred to this as education being the greatest equalizer. Is he correct? My story seems to validate this. I will leave you with this final thought from an ancient West African proverb. If you think you are too small to make an impact, try spending the night in a room with a few mosquitoes. Congratulations, class of 2018. Don't let anyone ever say you can't do something.
Good afternoon. Yes. Isn't this a wonderful day? This is the day that I and all of my colleagues throughout the year, when we work so hard to come to work every day, whether we teach or run the institution or cut the grass, we look forward to this day, where we see you wonderful, amazing people after 4 or 5 or 6 years of hard work, dedication, long nights. Some of you do work at night, study at night. And getting your degree, standing in here and being ready to enter the society as very, very successful people. I'm so delighted that you're here, and congratulations to all of you. Congratulations to the family members, to the loved ones. And let me tell you guys, those empty seats in here, those people who chickened out, they thought that there's going to be rain. They are going to be so sorry. They have no idea what they're missing. We are going to party tonight. Yes. This is not going to be one of those boring speech after speech after speech. Get ready to party till 10 at night tonight. And you think I'm kidding? Oh, by the way, my name is Ali Hushman. I'm the president of the university. I forgot all about that. Seriously, so happy to have you here. I have been here for 12 years, and I always wanted to have a university-wide celebration. For 200 years in this country, higher education has more or less stayed the same. The system of graduation, the semesters, fall and spring, and the commencements are a bunch of pomp and circumstance. People come in, a speech, and get medals, and they go away. And I thought that this is the day where people who have worked 4, 5, 6 years, paid lots of money, they had to really sacrifice their time and their youth in order to get to here. And the worst thing that we could do is to load them with another set of speeches that nobody cares and very few people remember, except Corey Clements, of course, and I'm sure you're going to be so excited about that. Because let me tell you, this guy is amazing. So I said, we need to have a celebration like this. So we decided to have about half an hour of talk, speeches, and after that, it's going to be a party. We're going to go out there, we're going to have fun. So What has happened to the university over the past 5 or 6 years that you've been here? So much has happened, hasn't it? So much. We went from a regional teaching institution to a nationally ranked research institution, ranked number 90 out of all the state institutions in the nation, ranked 171 out of 4,000 universities that exist in here. That's remarkable. In a space of 3 years, we established a new medical school, and then we integrated the School of Osteopathic Medicine. Now, consider this. 30 years before that, in the entire United States of America, there wasn't a single medical school because they're so hard to establish. Yet we had 2 of them. Now we are one of only 2 institutions in the nation with 2 medical schools. That's remarkable. We grew the institution. 2011, this university had just over 11,000 students. Today, 18,500. And amongst one of the most selective universities in Delaware Valley, among one of the most selective universities. Remember this. It's much, much harder to get in here in some of the programs than some of those prestigious private schools across the river, trust me. And of course, all these magnificent buildings. Look at the new engineering college where we're going to have a lot of party around it, the business college, the Holly Point Commons, gourmet dining, delicious food, West Campus. We have built close to $1 billion of buildings in here over the past 7 years. This is now, by Chronicle of Higher Education, is ranked one of 7 fastest universities in the nation. All of these things happened during your time. So while you're leaving with your degree, know that your degree is a lot more valuable and is going to become even more so. I predict that this university in 20 years will be in the same level as Carnegie Mellon University is today. That's what we are looking for. That's what we are working for, and we will get there. And you will be even more proud of your degree. I want to tell you, I'm so incredibly proud of you, not as a president, but as a father. Because I look at you healthy, happy, with a smile. Your families are sitting there and say, thank God I don't have to pay any more bill for these kids. Thank God I don't have to pay for his phone anymore. Let him go and pay the bill for himself for a change. So with all of that, I want to congratulate you from the bottom of my heart. I wish you a wonderful life. I hope that you all will have a very long and happy, happy life. Congratulations to all of you.
It's not every day that an undrafted rookie makes an NFL team. It's even less likely that that first-year player has a phenomenal season and goes on to play a major role in his team's victory in the Super Bowl. But Corey Clement, our speaker today, is no ordinary football player. And the story he will share with you today is no ordinary story. That story began here in the borough of Glassboro. At age 5, Corey decided he wanted to play football, and by his junior year, he led Glassboro High School to the South Jersey Group 1 championship in a game played in this very stadium. Despite a terrific career at the University of Wisconsin, and despite overcoming a significant injury, he was overlooked in the 2017 draft. Bad choice. But with talent, steely resolve, and a team-first attitude, he worked to land himself a job with coach Doug Peterson's Philadelphia Eagles. Corey made the most of the opportunity, playing with the type of heart and conviction that became hallmarks of the entire 2017 Eagles team. In Super Bowl 52, Corey recorded 100 yards receiving, which ranks him 3rd among all Super Bowl running backs. Additionally, he jump-started the Philly Special, the iconic play that ended with a successful and unexpected touchdown pass to quarterback Nick Foles that he didn't drop. We are proud he has come home to Glassboro to celebrate with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, and especially the class of 2018, Please welcome number 30 of the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, Corey Clement.
Good afternoon, Rowan University. And hello, class of 2018. First off, I made a promise to Jason Kellum and Leon Purvis. I'll give them a shout out. Congratulations to you two. Close friends back home, and like I said, keep moving forward in life, bros. You think that because we're in the football stadium that I'll be most comfortable speaking to you today. I'm all right. You know, playing football definitely keeps me sane. It keeps me in a different comfort zone. Kind of like how in the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots, how we beat them. Any Patriot fans in the house? It's all good, don't beat them up. They're still getting their stuff together for next season, it's fine. Any Giants fans here today? Hold up. Any Cowboys fans? Any fans of the Super Bowl Philadelphia Eagles in the house? There's no place like home. Glassboro is my home. And because you are Rowan University students, it's yours too. Be proud of that. It's a great university, and today is a great day all about you. My teammates are kind of busting my chops a little bit, so parents, I'm not going to go all Jason Kelsey on you today, so you guys are fine. I also want to clear this up. Today is not about me. It's about you, the class of 2018, and all about the people you love who are here to celebrate you. I know a little something about that. A year ago this week, I was wearing a cap and gown and earning my bachelor's degree from the University of Wisconsin. My future was uncertain. After playing football and completing my degree, I was expected to be a 3rd or 4th round pick. Everybody expected that. Me, my family, NFL scouts, the media, and my teammates. The plan was to graduate and join an NFL team that wanted me. But that didn't happen, kinda. For whatever reason, I went undrafted. My dream since I was 5 years old, the dream that I worked toward, the dream that I promised my mom that would happen someday, did not happen. I was devastated, embarrassed, and I felt like I left myself down and everybody else who loved and supported me down. After that, I wasn't sure what my path would be, but I began to realize that I couldn't control other people's opinions. I could only control how hard I worked. Then I got a call from the Philadelphia Eagles inviting me to the rookie minicamp. So the day I graduated, tossed my head up in the air and went right on the plane. I said, guys, you guys go ahead and have fun tonight. I gotta go make a team. And that wasn't hard. That was hard. I went into minicamp with the mindset that I would work my tail off, and I wanted to perform at the highest level every time I got the ball. I never wanted to be seen as the person who gives up. That's how I became the one of few undrafted rookie free agents to make the NFL roster for the Philadelphia Eagles. Being an Eagle made perfect sense to me. Philly is home to me. South Jersey is home to me. I set South Jersey records while playing right on that field over there and playing the championship game here. And you know the rest of the story. The Eagles marched right down the field in the regular season and in the playoffs to win the first Super Bowl in history for the franchise. When Tom Brady's last-second pass into the end zone was deflected, I ran onto the field like everybody else. I cried my butt off, and I don't care. But for some reason, it didn't feel real to me. I kissed the Super Bowl trophy. All right, I'm going to be honest here. For a second, I thought about how many lips didn't touch that darn thing. I said, give me the trophy. I'm going to kiss that thing. Give it to me. Going from an undrafted rookie free agent to a Super Bowl champion still didn't feel real to me. It still doesn't. But the path that got me here is very real. Graduates, as you all sit here today, I know your journeys, too, to the point are real. Even if you feel like a year ago, you don't know exactly what your path will be. But think about it now. Your path has made you who you are. Your upbringing has made you, you. I hope that, like me, you're thankful for the people in your life who supported you and sacrificed for you so that you could live out your dreams. For me, that includes family, my youth coaches, my mentors, my friends, my family, and pretty much of Glassboro High School. I invited all here today because I love them. I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for allowing a young African American to excel into the male I am today. You guys, I hope you're also grateful and proud of your roots. I hope that you live your life representing yourself, your family and friends in the right manner, in the way you speak and in the way you carry yourself. I came in as an underdog on the Eagles that prided itself all years on being underdogs. I don't think life owes us anything. We earn what we get out of life. So as you graduate today, I hope you don't go into your careers afraid of the odds. Whether you want to find a cure for Parkinson's or bring running water to a village in Honduras, or you want to be an entrepreneur, or you want to be a filmmaker, or a novelist, or a musician, or a teacher, or a coach, I hope you'll attack your dream at full speed. Dive into things that are difficult. To use a football analogy, be the person others count on to make the big completion, to fight for the extra yards, to have the sure, steady hands and give people the reason to pick you. The Eagles' mantra all last year, led by Coach Peterson, was, "We're not done yet." We chanted it after every playoff win and all the way to the Super Bowl. Guess what? Just because we won the Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles aren't done yet. And neither am I. I'm antsy to win another championship for the city. I'm sure enough not done. I just got started. As you start your careers and find success, I hope you'll fight complacency, celebrate your achievements, but also set goals for yourself and seek other outlets into your talents. I'm planning to pursue my MBA additionally. I'm very interested in music. I'm a music producer, and I also sing, write, and orchestrate. Just because you're good at one thing and you've chosen that for your career doesn't mean you don't have to try anything else. Be multidimensional. Find new passions and new outlets that challenge you and express you as a person. I want to end on this. It's cool to be proud of your school and your hometown. Don't ever talk down on them. I'm proud to be a product of Glassboro, New Jersey. I love Glassboro High School, and I would do anything to help my hometown. So when you tell people you earned your degree from Rowan University, be loud and proud. Rowan is a phenomenal school. The university's growth has made me even more proud to be a part of this small town that everybody talks down on a lot. We're all together, I know that for sure. This university has really stuck with me because, not just because you can get crab fries, even though that's a good thing now, or warm cookies at 1 a.m. for you people. Let me end on this. Rowan University, class of 2018, let's get this party started. Let's turn up. I'm out.
Since 2015, Rowan University has awarded medals of excellence that honor worthy individuals for exemplary achievement and service. Today, I'm pleased to present the first of our 2018 medals to Corey Clement. We all know what Corey has accomplished on the football field and how he has set the tone for his career as a professional athlete. A few minutes ago, Corey mentioned his pride in his hometown and his gratitude for those who helped him to achieve. What Corey did He did not mention how he has consistently returned to his root in Glassboro to thank his community and his school for their support. He also didn't mention his faithful encouragement to the many youth who look to him as an example. Corey, thank you for your service to Glassboro's young people and those who teach and mentor them in Glassboro School. Thank you for the time that you continue to invest in the children of Glassboro's Boys and Girls Club. Thank you for your commitment to motivate and inspire those around you, especially in the hometown we all share. On behalf of Rowan University, I am pleased to present the 2018 Rowan University Medal of Excellence for Community Engagement to Mr. Corey Clement.
Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Fly, Eagles, fly, score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch those Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
Good afternoon. My name is Suzanne Smalley Beers, and I'm a proud graduate of the class of 2002, and I serve as the Rowan University Alumni Association president. And if you had told me when I was sitting out there where you all are today that I would be up here addressing the class of 2018 right after the Super Bowl champion Eagles player, Corey Clement, I would not have believed you. It is my pleasure to be the first to welcome you all, the class of 2018, to Rowan's Alumni Association. Welcome. Your lifelong membership includes access to alumni events, programs, and services. It will provide you with opportunities to expand your Rowan network and remain connected to your alma mater. I hope to see you at future events. Today, it is my distinct honor to introduce you to a graduate who truly makes us all Rowan proud. Christopher J. Lukash is a 2004 magna cum laude graduate with a Bachelor of Arts in Communications with a specialization in Public Relations and a Thomas N. Bentivoglio honors concentration. After graduation, he joined Anne Klein Communications Group in Mount Laurel, gaining a strong track record of public relations success and working his way up in the company. He was named president of the firm in 2014 and became the sole owner of AKCG in January 2017. An alumnus featured in Rowan Magazine's inaugural 40 Under 40 list in 2016, Chris is a recognized leader in developing communication plans and advising clients facing crises in such industries as healthcare, education, and chemical manufacturing. He also teaches business, education, science, and health leaders how to communicate effectively on a public stage, no easy task in today's nuanced and challenging media landscape. Chris is truly a Rowan University distinguished alumnus. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Lukash.
Thank you very much. Wow. Yes, take it. Okay. Yes.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Wow. Hi, everybody. All right. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you to the Alumni Board for selecting me for this remarkable honor. Thank you, President Hushman, members of the administration, members of the trustees. This is in my mouth. Okay. Administrators, distinguished guests. My thanks, too, to the graduates of the class of 2018 for letting me be a part of your celebration today. Yeah. With the note, I'll just speak very briefly. With the notable exception of my parents, truly just about every influential person in my life, I first encountered on a 40-foot stretch of linoleum in Bosworth Hall. My wife, Melissa, the mother of our children, my first employer turned business partner who built the firm that I now own, my professional mentors, my close business associates, members of my staff, past and present, professors who became peers, personal friends, and others whom I neglected to scribble on my piece of paper. In each of these individuals, I see a few common threads. that I don't doubt are traced back to their Rowan experience. An underdog spirit, confidence, just the right amount of pluck, and a tremendous sense of pride watching this institution flourish as it has since I left and as it continues to. I say with no exaggeration that not a single day goes by where I don't reflect on the impact that Rowan University has had on every aspect of my life. And while 14 years ago, sitting where you sit today, I knew that my time at Rowan had primed me to enter the workforce. It was only with time that I have grown to appreciate how this institution has left such a powerful and indelible thumbprint on me. So as you begin your next act, whatever that may be, I wish for you not only success, but also the comfort and warmth of knowing that you too are forever part of this fine Rowan community, and that it will continue to transform you in unpredictable ways, as it has me, long after the degree arrives. Thank you again for making me feel so welcome and for extending to me this wonderful honor.
Okay, we are almost there. A few more minutes. Now it's time to certify the class. We will start with the candidates for the doctoral and professional degrees. Candidates for doctoral and professional degrees, please rise wherever you are. And where are the rest of you? There are hundreds of you. Dr. New, please certify the doctoral and professional degree candidates.
Mr. President, the candidates who have successfully met all of the requirements for the Doctor of Education, Doctor of Medicine, Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine, and Doctor of Philosophy degrees are hereby certified by the faculty for the receipt of their degrees.
Chairman Bruner, these candidates have been certified as having completed all the requirements for graduation. I present them to you as proper recipients of the Doctor of Education, Doctor of Medicine, Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine, and Doctor of Philosophy degrees.
Members of the class of 2018 who have been certified as having completed all the requirements for graduation by the authority vested in me as chairman of the Verona University Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the Doctor of Education, Doctor of Medicine, Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine, and Doctor of Philosophy degrees with all the rights, privileges, responsibilities, and obligations appertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Thank you. Please be seated. I will now recognize the candidates for Educational Specialist degree. Candidates, please rise. Nobody? We have nobody graduating in this field. That's unbelievable. That's not true, though. These are the lazy people who didn't show up. So we're not going to confer the degree on them.
They can get it in August.
Yes, they can.
More tuition.
No, did you hear that, though, did you? You didn't mean it. I will now recognize the candidates for the master's degree. Candidates for master's degree, please rise. Dr. New, please certify the master's degree candidates.
Mr. President, the candidates who have successfully met all requirements for the Master of Arts, Master of Biomedical Science, Master of Business Administration, Master of Education, Master of Engineering Management, Master of Music, Master of Science, and Master of Science in Nursing degrees are hereby certified by the faculty for the receipt of their degrees.
Chairman Bruner, these candidates have been certified as having completed all the requirements for graduation. I present them to you as proper recipients of the Master of Arts, Master of Biomedical Science, Master of Business, Business Administration, Master of Education, Master of Engineering Management, Master of Music, Master of Science, and Master of Science in Nursing degrees.
master's degrees candidates of the class of 2018 who have been certified as having completed all the requirements for graduation, by the authority vested in me as chairman of the Rowan University Board of Trustees, I confer upon you Master of Arts, Master of Biomedical Science, Master of Business Administration, Master of Education, Master of Engineering Management, Master of Music, Master of Science, and Master of Science and Nursing degrees with all the rights, privileges, responsibilities, and obligations appertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Please be seated. Thank you. I will now recognize the candidates for bachelor's degree. Candidates, please rise. Dr. Newell, please certify the bachelor's degree candidates.
Mr. President, the candidates who have completed all the requirements for the Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of General Studies, Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Science in Nursing degrees are hereby certified by the faculty for the receipt of their degrees.
Chairman Bruner, these candidates have been certified as having completed all the requirements for graduation. I present them to you as proper recipients of the Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of General Studies, Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Science in Nursing degrees.
Members of the class of 2018 who have been certified as having completed all the requirements for graduation, by the authority vested in me as chairman of the Rowan University Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of General Studies, Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Science in Nursing degrees with all the rights, privileges, responsibilities, and obligations appertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Well, I was going to say, please, you may be seated, but I'm going to call Lauren Bitzer to come in here and do one other thing. But let me tell you, immediately after that, the fun begins. You see, it was even less painful than a flu shot, wasn't it? Up until now. From now on, it's going to be great fun. Lauren, where are you?
Hey. Thank you, Dr. Hushman, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to represent Rowan University students today as we celebrate the very accomplished class of 2018. When people ask about our school, I always tell them that our university is great. At Rowan, you receive an excellent education, make lifelong friends, are mentored by professors and staff members who have your best interests at heart, and have opportunities to pursue experiences that help you grow as a student and as a person. Plus, I always say that if you spend a week at Rowan, you'll have t-shirts for a month. So, if you've received one t-shirt a week, which is actually a pretty low estimate if you actually, go. And there are about 30 weeks in an academic year, and we multiply that by 4. That means those of you earning your bachelor's degree will graduate with your hard-earned Rowan diplomas and roughly 120 free t-shirts, one for each week you've been a student. Woo. Wear those t-shirts with pride for years to come, class of 2018. To be sure, it has been a banner year and a banner collegiate career for all of you. I hope you'll take a moment now to consider what you've accomplished individually and collectively during your Rowan years. You joined with your classmates to demonstrate a deep commitment to helping others. Whether you were involved with Relay for Life or St. Baldrick's Day, or a number of other fundraisers presented by student groups and Greek organizations, you helped our university raise more than $175,000 for charities just this academic year. Well done, profs. You were leaders in the classroom, across campus, in student organizations, on the playing fields, and in our communities. In fact, just a few weeks ago, you were among 1,600 students who volunteered to complete more than 200 cleanup projects for our Glassboro neighbors. Way to go, class of 2018. You were active in dozens of new initiatives on our campuses. You started new clubs, you stuffed the bus, and volunteered in other ways to support the shop, our food pantry for students. You walked in support of cancer research and suicide prevention. You publicly supported victims of sexual assault and pledged to speak up. In those ways, and many others too numerous to count, you banded together to make our university stronger, more welcoming, and more diverse. We are grateful for you and for your leadership. You also took your talents beyond our university, representing Rowan nationally and internationally. You presented your academic work and research at conferences throughout the nation. You completed study abroad programs in China, Germany, Italy, and a host of other countries. Among you are recipients of prestigious and extremely competitive Fulbright, Goldwater, and Boren scholarships and an NSF award. Be proud, class of 2018, of the many ways you all have shined and represented our university on a larger stage. You also helped make the Rowan experience fun. You took advantage of Rowan After Hours, Holly Bash, Spirit Week, Field Day, athletic events, and memorable weekend trips sponsored by the Student Center. Some of you spent hours planning and presenting those events and activities. 4 of you even got in on the fun of Hushman's Hazardous Hot Sauce and competed in Wing Wars last fall. You gave up your taste buds for a good cause when our very cool university president launched his very hot line of sauces to benefit student scholarships. I was proud to be among you as we ate those nasty, licious, and nasty, vicious wings. Thank you for your school spirit, class of 2018. Today is a bittersweet day for me and for all of us here at Rowan. Throughout this week, we will cheer loudly as all of you, our classmates, mentors, and friends, begin a new stage in our lives. I can't even read. My tears are everywhere. I can't even look at this paper. We are excited for you, and we know you'll have great success. You're profs after all. As you graduate, I know you'll continue to keep Rowan in your hearts, and always remember that those of you who are continuing our Rowan studies are grateful for your leadership, your service, and your commitment to our school and to all of us. Congratulations, Rowan, class of 2018, and we'll see you at homecoming. And now it's time for the tossing of the tassel from right to left. Oh my gosh. Bachelor's degree graduates, please rise and join me on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All bachelor degree graduates may be seated. Thank you.
So today's ceremony is very much a commencement ceremony, but not necessarily a very traditional one. In case you hadn't gathered when Pomp and Circumstance morphed into a Stevie Wonder medley, we do things a little differently. In fact, we've left certain items out of the printed program so that everyone can enjoy the fun of surprises. And one of those surprises comes now. That surprise comes in the form of a gift from Gourmet Dining, our campus catering partner. Gourmet Dining began serving Rowan 4 years ago, so the class of 2018 is their class too. Today, as our class of 2018 graduation candidates arrived, we asked each one to fill out a check-in card, and you're about to be very sorry if you didn't. The surprise is that all of those cards are being brought on stage right now so that we can draw one card and announce the winner of a $5,000 gift from Gourmet Dining to one very lucky member of the class of 2018. This gift has no strings attached other than taxes. So someone's school's loans may get paid off sooner. Perhaps someone will have a boost in starting a business, or Chicky and Pete's is going to have a really good afternoon. George Kuzma from Gourmet Dining, and Richard Jones, our Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students. Please come present the $5,000 check. Student Government President Laura Bitzer, come and draw that lucky card.
I know them.
And the winner of the $5,000 drawing, courtesy of Gourmet Dining, is Matthew DeTurl. He's a mechanical engineering major from Summerdale, New Jersey. Come on down, Matthew. But wait, there's more. Now, I never really pictured myself as a game show host, but then I thought, if Snoop Dogg can do it, why not me? So, you may have already started to think about what you're going to do with that $5,000, but we have one more surprise, and it involves a Frisbee. Now, that $5,000 is yours to keep, but in front of the stage to my right, we have a target waiting for you. If you can throw that Frisbee from the point marked in the front of the stage into the opening of the target, one chance, Gourmet Dining will multiply your $5,000 by 10. You will go home with $50,000. Now, wait a moment. Hold on. So, just so you know, George Kuzma is ready with the $50,000 check. All that has to happen now is Matthew has to hit the target in the sweet spot. Take your position, wait for my count of 3. Class of 2018, let's cheer for a big win. One, 2, 3. Oh! Well, that was a great try under a lot of pressure, Matthew, but you're still going home with $5,000. Congratulations. Thank you, George, and all of Gourmet Dining for sponsoring the drawing and giving the class of 2018 such a special send-off. Now, we're the last thing standing between you and the party. So, we're going to close by thanking you for attending today's ceremony. And one last time from everyone, let's congratulate all of our students. The audience is requested to remain in place until the platform party and graduates have recessed. Students and guests are invited to the Commencement Coast celebration located on the other side of Wacker Stadium, the home bleachers near James Hall and Wilson. Please refer to the map on the back of your program. You will need the beach tag you received when you entered to attend the celebration. Please rise for the alma mater and remain standing for the recessional.
All roads children salute thee and pledge to thy fame the resounding voices reprise. All about thee arise the first temples of God, lifting high leafy arms to the sky. And the flowers that bloom in the green of the sun seem to sing thee a sweet lullaby. And the flowers that bloom in the green of the sun seem to sing thee a sweet lullaby. When it stayed too long. Now I'm wondering if your love's still strong. Oh, baby, here I am inside, still living. I'm yours. The next time I went and said goodbye, now I'm backing out ashamed to cry. Oh, baby, here I am inside, still living. I'm yours. I'm yours. Here I am, baby. Oh, I'm living. I'm yours, baby. Here I am, baby. Oh, I'm living. I'm yours, baby. I've done a lot of foolish things that I really
Kick off your